Alright, I hope you guys can hear me okay. This is the first podcast going live. It's experimentational, you know. We thought we'd do this to try and fill a time slot for an hour. I mean, people can jump on, jump off. Chris might not stay on for the entire thing, but he likes to get carried away, so we'll see. We'll see. So...
I'm quite busy tonight, quite busy. Yeah, quite busy tonight, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Right, so the objective of the podcast is to try and gain some momentum. This is podcast number one. So, what are the grounds of the podcast? Just coming in, hanging out. These are the people of the Freeman movement. These are the people, I mean, we'll share all thoughts, all ideas, all discussion. I don't expect to get a super major amount of viewers this time or any engagement when it comes to the chat, but when it does come to talking, guys, feel free to use the chat. The chat, fuck me, I'm trying to get, yeah, there. There, the chat there should be linked up to YouTube, so whether you're commenting on YouTube or Facebook, all your comments should come through right there. Obviously, the layout is a bit scuffed. I just slapped it together best I could. You can also join the stream through Skype. So that'll be a future thing that we do. It will be mandatory to kind of go on cam because, you know, it's going to be more of an interactive experience. And we'll be talking about all kinds of things, politics, cars, anything that anybody wants to come on and talk about, you know, but mainly focusing on recent events and things that are going on at the moment. Obviously, there's big happenings going on with politics right now, Brexit and everything that's going on over in the US with Q. Just all kinds of shit, you know, and we'll just take it from there.
That was the Brexit shake.
That's the Brexit shake. Jamie Freeman.
Brexit shake.
Well, we had... I don't know if we should put the videos on blast of me and you. Shall I get them on the stream right now? Can you remember that?
Do you know what? I was thinking about doing something fucking stupid. Just doing like a little thing where if any like Remain like marches going up, turning up in like pink or something with that rocking horse thing.
Yeah.
Just fucking stand and just filming it for a laugh. Different things there, Ted, and just put it up on our stream. Just see how far I could go.
I'll show you guys what we're talking about. So what we're talking about is so what I'll do is I'll just grab this chat, and I will put the chat over here so you guys can still see it. Actually, we need to edit this so that we can get the comments. Shut down when not visible, no. Refresh browser when scene becomes active, no. So we'll just change that so that it's always active then, and that way the chat does not destroy itself every time I switch screens. So if I go over now to WhatsApp, I'll show you exactly what we're talking about.
I should be able to go watch this on the Freeman, shouldn't I? If I got my computer in front of me and it's totally in click. Right.
Alright, so let's have a look. So we go to what have we got? I'll show yours first, Chris, because you are the seed of this. Okay. I saw this and Chris posted this and I was like, I've got to join in. So this is
I was visiting my granddaughter, by the way, and I just had a join before I entered the building, and yeah, I was pissing about over her. It was just hilarious. I thought I'd get on it, but I tell you, it hurt me nuts off. Right,
so I'll just put this at the start. I'll put this at the start there.
It really hurt me nuts.
All right, quieten down. Wait, let's play this. Let's play this.
You need to remain near you. I've got my pink rocking chair. I'm ready to go.
She's running away.
No impression of a typical Remainer. Going to a remaining march, I am. Going to a remaining march on my pink
On your
seat.
balls.
Oh, that is classic. I was in stitches when I saw that. It's the bit at the start, man, when you said when you just turn your head. It's so comical.
You need to remain near
Oh, dear.
We need to remain in the EU. So good. Right, and then I responded with this one.
Yeah. I was pissing myself at this one. Oh, grief. It's my little granddaughter. Let's let that. This is what I'm doing this for.
Let me get these audio levels. Let me get these audio levels correct. Okay, so get that one there. Turn that one
I'll
down.
put headphones on, so it's hopefully blocked out everything.
Oh, you're good. You're golden. Don't worry about it. It's all good. totally agree, Chris. We need to remain in the EU. The only place for us. On my way to my Remain march. So yeah, we need to make that a thing, guys. We need to make that a thing. I think it should definitely be a thing. Oh god, it's unbelievable, unbelievable. What made you think about doing that, Chris?
Oh, just a piss taker, so I just did. Because I saw the pink unicorn, I thought of just the people who attend their marches, you know what I mean? Just
yeah.
Like, says it all, doesn't it? I was going to say I was binary at the beginning, but I was going to say my name's dot dash, dot 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 dash, but I wasn't too sure. Yeah, it says it all, doesn't it?
Unbelievable.
Oh, dearie me.
What do you think to that V for Vendetta film, that clip that I sent?
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I've watched the film.
Yeah, it's a good film. It's a good film. But that one with the dominoes, I saw so many similarities with that, and obviously, what's going on right now, like really eerie. Yeah,
I mean, you get a lot of films there, even like the thing at Hunger Games. There's an inkling into there. There's a lot of. They let it slip because what you got to understand is this is programming, isn't it? Okay, so how do you program previews? So there's kind of subliminal messaging within these films, and then was my speaker on? And then what they do is, so we get kind of used to the concept, don't we?
Yeah. Can you just give me a nice firm check 1 2 into the mic for me, please?
Yeah, hang on, it was telling me. Speaker off, got mine on. That's better. Yeah, check 1 2, mic check 1 check 1 check 1 2.
Check 1 2, check 1 2.
We're on the ones and twos. Coming to you live and direct from the sitting room. We're on the ones and twos. Coming to you live and direct.
So basically, I was just checking on my phone there, listening to the stream, and the audio levels seem fucking stellar, mate. So that should be fine. Yeah, usually we're all the professionals, right? You do all the tests and the fucking, you know, not me. I just get the fuck online, you know? Just jump on and figure it out as you go along.
Best way sometimes. Straight in at the deep end.
I need to look into that video that I took on the march of the guys up in HM, the ones on a balcony, because I have an S9 Plus, don't I? So the camera's really good. And aside from the stream, I also took some normal videos. I'm sure I put one of them in the WhatsApp chat where I zoomed right into the guy's face.
I remember.
I want to know who he is. I'm going to play that now on stream really quick.
Because there was a couple of them, they were laughing up there first.
Laughing, mocking, yeah.
There was a bird there, there was a bloke in the middle with quite grey hair. He looked sort of like MI5-ish, sort of. You know what I'm saying? He just had that aura when I looked up at him. I thought, oh, right. Something dodgy there. We're being watched.
Yeah, let me see if I can get that up. I'm looking through the WhatsApp. Did I put it in the WhatsApp?
Yeah, I did. I saw it.
Oh, that was a funny one. Let me go back onto thing. There's a few funny things in the WhatsApp actually. That's pretty cool. We'll stay on media here. This was the thing, right? Somebody put one of these devices on the train tracks. I think it was one of the levers. It was you know. Did you see that in the WhatsApp chat?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. One of the levers. And it was meant to basically fuck with the conductor signals, basically to make it look like the track was occupied so the train would sit and wait. But it didn't work because obviously they're using different technology now. But it was kind of witty. And the sign on it, see, took it off. It says, "Government betrayal. Leave means leave. We will bring this country to its knees if we don't leave." Okay.
Really? Do you think? Really? Come on. Do you think somebody would have the levels to think of something like that? That's a setup. Disrupt the railways.
But the thing is, it is a good idea, mate, because
it is.
I think and there's a lot of old patriots that know the railway, right, and work on the railway or know about trains. Yeah. So anyway, I looked at the actual tweet that it was from, and someone said blah 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 about what's happened, and then someone responded, "That's a pretty big criminal offence, right?" And then I just responded, "You're talking about the government's betrayal, right?" Because obviously the government's betrayal, that's the Mac Daddy. What they did with the government's betrayal was the one and only. I believe you posted a few videos here as well, Chris, on the WhatsApp, which is great. Yeah, it was a great day. It was a great day. I don't know if I actually posted a video of the guys off above. It's on my Facebook anyway, and it was basically a really close-up shot of this guy's face on the balcony to the left. It's distressing almost that somebody would rub that in the face of people. You know, in terms of what's going on.
That bloke up on the station roof, wasn't he? He was stood up there with his flag, wasn't he? How the hell is that going to stop trains from running underneath?
Well,
there was no way to fall through, was there? There was no.
The thing is with that one, right, is that the thing that he was on is basically a hood, which is like the hood going over the tunnel, which is an exit. So it's like a falling hazard. He could jump on the track, or he could drop a fucking flag that could get tangled in the lines, or they have to take it all fucking seriously because it's London, right? So they're all over the top about everything. But good on him, I think. At least it's to stop the trains for a while. I mean, do what you can to get people's attention and understand that you want to be here. I was a bit I was glad because it was a few hours after that guy did that in St Pancras. A few hours before he did that in St Pancras, that was when my train was leaving back to Doncaster. So I was like, thank fuck that wasn't me, because I had a connecting train where I get off, and within like 10 minutes of the train arriving, I get on a bus, a megabus. So if I had any delay on that train whatsoever, I'd have missed my bus back to Doncaster and probably had to fork out money to get back. So fuck me, like I escaped that on a hair. It's fucking crazy, man.
That was funny, man. That was a funny day, that was. Because when I turned up a little bit earlier than you. I got there a little bit before you, didn't I? So we got off at, I think it was Embankment, and then walked along the side near the Thames. The Thames is on our left. And then we're sort of walking to where we think it was going to all meet up, and then we come to a road to our right, and I said to who I was with, Rob, I said, oh, there's meat wagons down there, so it's got to be down that way. So we turned right down there and then ended up at the back of the screen. So it seemed quite easy for us to get, but you had trouble, didn't you?
Behind Tommy's, are you behind? Was that behind Tommy's stage? And on the right, as you're walking down, you've got Downing Street number 10, right? Well, do you know where you came from? Obviously, you arrived a bit earlier, so it started off slow with people getting on. But the problem was, right, is that as it got more and more busy in central London, they started fucking doing weird techniques where they was letting people out but not back in again. Because people need to go for a fucking piss and a shit, right? People needed to go to the toilet. Because, I mean, the guys, they just went round the corner and did their fucking business, right? But and it looked like it had been raining round the corner. Did you see that?
Yeah. That was when I left. It was incredible. Oh, hang on. Hello, mate. I'm gonna have to get off, man, because somebody's just turned up. One of my mates.
Cool beans.
Yeah. All right. So listen, I'll stay. I'll hit the link again to come back in. It shouldn't be too long. All right, guys.
Right. Nice one, man.
All right. I'll speak to you in a minute. Sorry, man. Let's do this. Sort this out. Right. That's gone there.
Brilliant. There we go. Let me just sort the camera out as well. So there was all kinds of problems on the day in London. There was like multiple problems that just stopped people from being able to get in, basically. And I mean, there was problems with the tube. There was trying to cause cut-offs in the tube. So if you didn't know your way around London, it was really difficult to get into Parliament. There was making it one-way system. So if you left, you couldn't get back in, which is why the crowds was so up and down on the aerial footage. It was just all over the place in terms of the actual reliability of being able to actually get to the march. But we're definitely looking at, you know, hundreds of thousands of people was actually there. But it was really hard to represent that because there was, again, stopping people getting in and stopping people from using what was basically there for people to come and protest at. So it was kind of demeaning, but you ended up with loads of footage of people from all over London. It wasn't just a thing that was going on in the centre. It was going on pretty much across the board all over the place. And it was great to see the videos after I actually finished on the day. Because obviously I'd only stood in front of the Tommy Robinson stage until the crowd dispersed towards the end of the main speakers, and after that it was like all a mystery and a question, you know, what else has gone on really, and I could only really find out from the WhatsApp group that I was in, where people was also in London posting pictures and videos, and also from you know, the alt media outlets, which was kind of broadcasting the truth as of what went on throughout the day. But there was no trouble, there was no fucking racist, there was no nothing going on. It was a great day. It was honestly, I could understand why a lot of people wouldn't have wanted to bring the kids, right? But looking back at it, I would have taken the kids down. It was a super safe environment to be in, and it was odd. It was a really odd feeling being at the front of the stage, because although there was all that anger and frustration going on in terms of the march and everything, and the Brexit betrayal, and coming up to the 29th when we're supposed to be leaving, people still kind of bottled it, you know? And it's like the anger in the crowd because of the speakers turned into passion, and the passion turned into love, and the love turned into care, and the care and love turned into awareness, and it was a really beautiful time to be in London in that specific spot. It was really strange. It was an eerie feeling, like the dominoes was falling, but obviously still a massive problem that, you know, they're splitting the vote. We've got the Brexit party, and we've got we've obviously got the UKIP party. So I'm hoping there's going to be one of them that's going to come forward and ask for a coalition, so we have somewhere to vote, or one of them's going to fucking fall over on its arse, and we're going to see what the most obvious one is to vote for. But in terms of everything that's going on, it's like, it's really hard to see the truth of everything, because it's so easy to call Tommy Robinson a racist, right? Because of his background. He's probably not the best leader in terms of what's going on to represent the movement. And we've got Nigel Farage, who seems to be a bit of a toff, and seems to sell out quite quickly. So in terms of the reality of the entire situation, it's really hard to spread the truth of what's going on with the European Union. And there's been a lot of evil with the European Union in the history of the European Union. It did start off as a trading bloc, but it turned into something that was a lot more venomous, a lot more dishonest. And they're trying to pull the strings that, you know, oh, do you want to go on holiday? You won't be able to go on holiday if we leave the European Union. And it's all a joke, really. It's all just fugazi. It's all bullshit. And you know, I showed that with the earlier video on the Freemason group and the Freeman group and page. Getting mixed up with Freemasonry, that's a fucking slippery slope. And the news just lies day in, day out, day in, day out. You can go look at the YouGov polls. You can go look at the statistics for people that voted in and people that voted out, and it's just the same. It's the same thing, day after day after day. That, you know, people are being misled, people are being misinformed, people are being sold a false narrative of what's going on. And I think it's like, a lot of these people that get the information, I mean, you speak to somebody that talks about remaining, somebody that has voted Remain in terms of their opinion or whatever, and there's a lot of positives to the European Union, you know, the freedom of travel and work and things like that, and the economy and the trade and all these things. But the truth of the matter is, the negatives far outweigh the positives, because what the European Union has become over its time in power has been something very corrupt, something very dictatorial. There's no democracy with the European Union. We see this with all the bills that they've signed over the last, 10 plus years. Countries don't really have any real power. I mean, they do, but they don't. And when you actually debate someone, on why they want to remain in the European Union, and you say, well, look, mate, why, their arguments are always seem to be on the basis of either things that don't outweigh the negatives, or things that seem to be fugazi, just a total lie. in terms of politics. I mean, you talk about voting Labour because they're meant to represent the working class in the north, right? I mean, the north of England has been predominantly Labour for a very long time in terms of statistics and voting. But the places, the constituencies represented by Labour have the highest level of austerity in the country. That doesn't make any sense in terms of who they represent. And it's like, nobody wants Nazis in power, right? Nobody wants real racists and Nazis in power. But the problem is, people are running away from the truth. People run away from debate. And I know a lot of people that are very broad-minded and a lot of people that are very narrow-minded in their views. And it's the ones that are narrow-minded which, no surprise, seem to be the most ill-informed and the most vulnerable when it comes to false information and fake news. Because it's very easy to read an article which leads you to believe something is a certain way and then disregard any form of self-preservation and growth by looking into these things yourself and seeing if they're actually true. And this comes for even what I'm saying, you know, and I believe a lot of people in the Freeman movement and what it is that we've developed, you know, like 4,000 people and rising. This movement it's took off, you know, and it was amazing being in London on the 29th. I really enjoyed it, and I was around some really like-minded people. I didn't meet any racists. The only racist thing that I experienced on the 29th was Channel 4 and the news reporter Jon Snow saying I've never seen so many white faces. It's unbelievable. It's London, you know? And a lot of people, that goes to show that so many people came up from the north or whatever. I mean, I did even say to Chris, we could do with a lot more black people, do you know what I mean? In terms of like the ethnic diversity and representation on the march, because it just wasn't there. It just wasn't there, and I'm not gonna lie and say that it was, because it wasn't. But I think it was the fear and the narrative that was pushed, which was everybody's a load of racists that was there. I mean, but when it came to the actual people that was on the ground, the people that were standing at Nigel Farage's march supporting the Brexit Party, and people standing at the UKIP Tommy Robinson stage, there was no separation in opinion in the things that people stood for. They all wanted the same thing. I met people that voted Remain there on that march and there on that demonstration, which said they regretted voting Remain. And this idea that more people have regretted voting Leave than voting Remain is a farcity. And I mean, the same media outlets that are basically saying, so you've got media outlets, these fake news media outlets, right, which are saying that the support for the Remain campaign has grown more and more. Now that the same media outlets that are placing these stories out there and pushing that narrative are the same media outlets that had the polls. I mean, I'll get them up right now. Desktop, right? If I go over to here, right, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So go to history. Recently closed tabs. Oh no, we don't have anything in there. Show all history. If we put in here Brexit, poll saying it's the highest level. So we've got Politico here. So we'll open Politico. So it's articles like this, which basically say, poll, support for staying in EU at highest level since referendum. 56% of Brits say they would choose to remain in the EU. It's like YouGov survey and blah, 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 right? Now, if you look at the real reality of what's actually going on, I mean, I have, you know what, I have screenshots, which would be a lot easier to show you guys, because I did a video on this already. If I actually go to downloads, scroll down to screenshots, we've got all the information here that I need. So what have we got here? So we've got this one here. So open this one. So this is the YouGov survey results for 24th to 25th of March, right? And here are the oh shit, I've gone the wrong way there. So with these results, what can we distinguish? What can we find out, right? And we can find out that if we follow the Britain remaining in the EU question, so how many people voted for Britain remaining in the EU? And we go over to London, for example, we can see 57%, right? 57% of people voting in this YouGov survey, 24th, 25th, and I don't fucking trust this survey as far as I can throw it, right? But 57% of people in London said they want Britain to remain in the EU. Now look at these statistics. Yeah, it's all there for people to view as of recent. Yeah, they can't lie too much, right? They only want to bend the truth slightly. But even the YouGov result says more people are now for leaving the European Union than fucking staying. So this article saying support for staying in the EU at highest level since referendum, it's to be frank, it's bullshit. It's not true, because if we look even at I've got a screenshot here somewhere from an article which was basically where is it? So we've got so this is the referendum results for London, right? So we've got, that's how many registered people we've got here. 5.5 million, 5.4 million. We've got a 69.7% turnout of voters. So we've got 2.2 million people voting to remain in the EU, 1.5 million voting to leave. We've got 59%, so let's say 60% of people in London saying that they want to stay in the European Union. This doesn't add up. Think about the last stat that we got from that YouGov poll. We got the last stat on the YouGov poll between 24th and 25th of March for London said Britain remaining in the EU, 57%. So we've got less people now than what voted in the EU. It's gone down. There's less support for the EU since the referendum. This is why they don't want another referendum, because we will vote to leave the EU by even more numbers. Yeah, and London was one of the highest Remain voting constituencies amongst all the constituencies in London. So to say that, so for articles like that to even exist, right, and even try to convince you that that's the truth, is beyond me. And people probably shared that article. In fact, let's have a look. Let's see if they shared. I'll get that article up. How many people shared it? It's got 1K plus shares. 1,000 people shared this article on Politico and was like, that 56% of Brits say they would choose to remain in the EU. But look at London. Look at the Remain capital of the UK. And they've lost support. So where are they getting their figures from? Because they're saying here at the bottom, the YouGov survey. I've just pulled YouGov up and looked at it. So they're swindling. They're bending the truth, right? And it's really weird. Because if London has even lost traction, then you can assure that the North hasn't changed. The North is still going to vote leave. I can assure you that, because of all the austerity. That South-North divide in terms of the money and where it's going. I mean, any of you that's from north of London, you'll know exactly what I mean. But when it comes to, if you go down and visit London, right? Go down and visit and look at London and look at the streets, look at the investment in London. Look, where's all the money going? It's in London. It's in London, and they will invest money in the most simplest of things in terms of just they have that much money, they don't know what to do with it. It's disgusting. It made me feel sick. What's going on in London right now is terrible, basically, and to think that people would vote any other way than leave when given the chance again is crazy. So that's out the window. That debate's covered, right? When it comes to the fundamentals of a deal, right? People didn't vote for a deal. It's that simple. We didn't vote for a deal, and if we are going to have a deal, we should have a deal on trade. There's a massive problem, right? The deal that they're trying to sign, the concept, it's not 100% just about trade. It's about other things as well. Because how can the media say that the biggest problem, the biggest threat that we have, right, in terms of everything that's going on, isn't like people working here and blah, 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 blah. It's just going to affect people when we get over it, right? The biggest problem is apparently trade. We're going to be affected by trade. Prices are going to go up. The pound's going to crash. All these fucking fear. The same thing that they said with the EU referendum. And then the pound crashed, but then it immediately recovered because it was just fear-mongering. The only reason the pound crashed after the vote was because of all the fear mongering and people thinking, oh fuck, now now it's all going to happen. All these things that they said was going to happen is going to happen, and it didn't happen. So it's just all bullshit. And they're saying the same thing's going to happen again if we leave, and it's just like, how can people still believe the lies time and time again? So they're lied to. Okay, they know they're lied to. You just go fucking read these articles that you was preaching and swearing by when you fucking voted Remain, right? You know, if you still believe in those same media outlets, then you're an idiot, because they've lied to you, and it's got to here now, right? When we're talking about leaving with or without a deal, these same media outlets are lying again, blatantly, and people are still sharing it. It's the same people that want to vote Remain. I don't understand. I'm yet to understand somebody's principles, right? It's like, it's literally to this level, right? It's like saying, how can I put it in simple terms? The way I could put it in simple terms is, okay, so if we stay in the EU with this deal, right? I mean, obviously, this is like I'm making this into a metaphor so you can understand the fucking atrociousness of this deal. Is we will reduce the price of your bread. Everybody eats bread as a basic rule in terms of as an example for the metaphor. Your bread's going to be cheaper, your food's going to be cheaper, right? But underhandedly, your petrol is going to cost a lot more. You know, that's not necessarily what's going on. But in terms of, like, we're still going to be in chains with the EU. That deal will still keep us practically in the EU for the reasons that we voted out. The main catalyst for why people voted out, right, was because of this dictatorship making decisions for our country, because of the immigration, right? And here's the problem. If somebody is fleeing their country, right, because there's fucking shit going on, come here, guys, right? I don't mind sharing the country. I don't mind sharing what we've worked for and what we've built, and coming in the castle of the UK. I'm not going to be like, no immigrants allowed. No, that's not what I'm saying. But what you've got to consider is people that just go and watch the video. I mean, let's have a look. I'll show you exactly what I mean. And you show this to a Remain supporter, right? And they just ignore it. They just ignore it. Migrants climb on trucks in France to UK. Right. So just search that. There'll be a video. Baccalaureate, Sky News, desperate. Right. Consider this. Consider this. And this is only 7th September 2018, and it's only been fucking happening the same, right? Where are the women and children? Where are the women and children? The fuck is going on? I agree we should help these countries, right? And send aid and not financially cripple them with war and you know, we've had fucked up governments, we've done fucked up things. But us as a people that go to work 9 to 5, you guys, I'm sure that a lot of you watching, go to work 9 to 5 or work or just do anything in general, or your ancestors have died for this land. We didn't do that for somebody to come and piss all over it. There comes a line that you don't cross. There comes a line you don't cross in terms of destroying the country from the inside out. There's no way, when you look at the statistics of how many of them are coming in, anybody can say that that is not crippling our country and hasn't been crippling the NHS and all these services. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, they have been selling these services off. But there's a reason at the root of this as to why they've been failing. Am I blaming the immigrants? Am I going to say, oh, they're a bunch of cunts or whatever? What are they doing coming in my country? Ah, bar scallywag. No, I'm not saying that. They're given the opportunity, they're going to take it. Wouldn't you? I would. Come on, let's not lie and just say that they're fucking uneducated. They're clearly clever enough to know that they're going to have a better life in the UK when they're being offered all the fucking benefits that they're being offered. Why would they not take that opportunity? I don't blame them. We should be letting migrants in, right? We should be taking our fair share. But there's the clue is in what I just said there. Fair share. And what is a fair share? Enough that it doesn't cripple our economy, right? From where I come from in Doncaster in South Yorkshire, right? There's a massive fair share of people from all different backgrounds. I grew up and went to school with people from Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Asian, Chinese, all of it. And I didn't have a problem with it. There wasn't really any racism in my school. And I come from a northern, and they have crossed that line. Exactly, Tracy. I come from up north, where all this fucking far right activity is meant to be growing. There wasn't really any racism in my school. I went to Dana Academy. There was no fucking racism. And when there was racism, it was like there was the cunts in the school, right? There was the cunts. In fact, there was quite a close relationship between both sides. Sides, if you want to call it that. I'm lowered to using that vocabulary because a lack of a better word. I can't fucking call it anything else other than sides. It's infuriating. It's really infuriating that people would choose to blindlessly sink the country like Titanic over rationally understanding exactly what's going on. Because what's happening and what has been happening for the last few years is we have been sent to the slaughter like sleeping lambs. These problems haven't been solved, and the reason we're not represented in Parliament, and the reason is because of the voting system and how it's laid out. And they have the same problems over in the US. Trump still won. Good on him. Yeah, it's all about having people in Parliament, right, that can democratically represent the will of the people and how we feel, right? How we feel, what we're thinking, what we believe, all that shit. Whether you call someone uneducated or not, they're given the vote. It's like they used the same rhetoric against women. Do you know what I mean? We used the same rhetoric against women 100 years ago. Can we not? Can you guys not see this direct link between what's happening now and how the people that voted Leave are being called uneducated, like we didn't know what was going to happen, we didn't know what we was voting for? You know, they used the same rhetoric against women 100 years ago, and they're using it against us that voted Leave just to try and slander what's going on. They have that much disregard for how people think and what they believe, right? And there's clearly a bigger plan going on, that they will put somebody who voted Remain in charge of the country when the democratic vote said we wanted to leave. None of these things add up. None of these things add up. I couldn't give two shits if even 1% or 10%, 5%, whatever, of the country was Nazis, right? And it was totally racist, and they voted for the Nazi party. Let's say there was a Nazi party in the UK. I used this point before, I'll use it again, because it's a great way of explaining it. Now, if you've got 10% of the electorate that vote for a Nazi party, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with them, right? If that's how they feel, what they think, what they believe, that 10% should be represented in Parliament. Because if you go to the doctors and find out you've got cancer, or there's signs of cancer, you have to face up to it, right? You have to go and look into those things. You don't just ignore them. Because it spreads, it grows. There's clearly a problem there, right? So it's okay them saying, okay, these people are uneducated, they had no idea what they was voting for, right? But can you imagine if the referendum, right, percentage... so it's like, do you know how we have our elections? We do it based on constituency, right? And that's how the vote goes through. Can you imagine if they did that with a referendum? Let's work out the percentage of that. Let's check that out. So if I go and look at the constituencies that voted for Brexit, Brexit referendum by constituency. There we go. Right, how do I fucking find this shit? So, Remain and Leave, valid votes, invalid votes, registered voters, East Midlands, electorate. I'm sure I'll be able to find it somewhere in terms of what people voted for on an electorate level. East Midlands region was broke down. Valid total. Greater London, I mean that one was just crazy, right? 59.9% voted Remain in London, and that stat has been reduced. So let's see if we can work out constituency. membership referendum, 2016. This page seems to go on forever. Why is it just going on forever and ever? Jesus Christ. Let's see if we can find by constituencies. Constituencies. More than UK. What's going on there? I need to find out how many constituencies, more than 100 seats back Brexit now want to remain, or constituencies voted to leave and remain. According to these estimates, around 75% of constituencies that were won by the Conservatives in the general election voted leave, while around 61% of Labour constituencies voted leave. So it's on both sides. What percentage of how many constituencies voted leave in the referendum? Back leave, standard referendum. So I can't even fucking find it. Let's have a look. Images, maybe. We'll have a map that will show us, right? So in terms of this, we're looking at a lot more constituencies. So in an election, right? The point is this how you do it? Lie on iron loss of different yeah. If this was based on if this was on the same rules that we have, let's say the general election, the percentage would be way higher, right? We'd be leaving for sure. But I think it's something like 80% of people in Parliament voted Remain. What's that about? I don't quite understand it. Because, I mean, what was it? UKIP voted. What did UKIP vote? UKIP, again, a party that it's like, meh, whatever. But people support it. I mean, it's an uprising party at the moment. UKIP. There we go. So, if I switch over to this now, and I'll show you this. General election 2015 results. Why first past the post has killed UKIP. So, let's think about this. Look at UKIP. Look at that. Pfft, unbelievable, right? Unbloody believable. Let's have a look. The Tories got 11.3 million votes and 329 seats, while UKIP got 1 seat for 3.9 million votes. And you wonder why people don't feel represented. What? Is it really like an Inspector Gadget mystery? I mean, come on, guys. It's almost like what? Sorry, guys, being taken away for a bit longer than I thought. Hopefully, catch the end. If on later, 9 will join in chat again. No problem, Chris. It's all right. Like I said, anybody's welcome to come on and talk. This is the first podcast / stream. I'll try and do this for an hour, 8 o'clock till 9 every day. But yeah, people aren't represented in this country. Whether you like their opinion or not, they should be represented. Yeah, I think people that voted Remain should be represented. That's why I'm a big believer in a deal, right? But I'm a believer in a deal in terms of trade. Personally, right? If I had my way, I'd have no deal at all, right? But because so many people voted Remain, I think there should be some kind of middle ground. But a middle ground isn't just selling us back to the EU. You know what I mean? You've still got to leave the EU. Ideally, we should leave the EU, then have a deal. But if they're going to want to, you know, stamp their feet like a toddler and have a deal before we leave, then it should be a deal which represents what they're saying is going to be a massive problem. And what they're saying is going to be a massive problem is trade. So make a deal on trade. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. But they're not doing that. They're not doing that, and they're wondering why people are saying no. I don't want a deal. I do not want a deal with the EU. Because they're not writing a deal for trade. They're writing a deal for other things like legislation and the fishing waters and just the backstop in Ireland. They're playing everything off the wall like ping pong. And basically they're using it to manipulate what we can and can't do to make a change in this country. I am really concerned about the whole UKIP and Brexit Party dilemma, because it is a really big dilemma. We really need to think about what's gonna be happening with that, because the Remain side, sure, they've got a party to vote for, Labour. You know, you're not going to vote fucking Conservative, right? They're for Leave. You're gonna vote Labour if you're for Remain. But who do the Leavers vote for? You can't vote for Conservative after this fucking mess. Definitely not. Not after the deals that she's put on the table. It's either Brexit Party or UKIP. It's a massive dilemma. A massive dilemma. And I mean, we're thinking about next election as well. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. That's us right now, the people. As Anonymous says. So, I don't know. I see a lot more people saying they want to vote UKIP than Brexit Party just because of what Nigel Farage said. He lowered himself to the level of the mainstream media, and he really did suck up and become a bit of a ponce. I'm disappointed in him because he lost my vote, right? I'd have voted Brexit Party had he not said what he said. Honestly, I'd have not cared. I'd have just voted Brexit Party had it come down to it. But be all and end all is you shouldn't really be thinking about voting for either or. You should be thinking about the fact that you've got a big movement of people that want Brexit delivered, whether it was a previous Remain voter or whatever, whoever it is. If you want us to leave the EU, or let alone, if you want us to be democratically represented, right, Brexit Party or UKIP will fit the bill. I mean, Brexit Party, fuck me, clues in the name, and UKIP, clues in the name, UK Independence Party. We're not racist. Fuck me. You get called a racist for saying that immigration's a problem. But, of course, if you let too many people in, it does become a problem. And if these people aren't educated on our values and morals, and they don't come here to work, they come here to fucking... If they get paid on benefits more than what they get paid to work in an entire year for a month, they're not going to be that bothered about working. They're just not. They're not going to, fuck me, get a job. Are you crazy? Oh, God. I have to go into this building once a week and blah, 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 blah. They don't give a shit. They're given a spends card. I saw, it was that bad. I saw groups of them in Doncaster. You know, groups of migrants. And, like, we're all the way up north. You know what I mean? They're not going to be settling in London. They're going to be settling up north. And that's where all the problems are going. And that's why a majority of us voted Leave. Because it's always us that has to pick up the pieces and deal with the stick. It's not the London borough. That's why they voted Remain. Because they don't see what life is like up north. It's like a slum. The north of England, compared to London, is like a slum. In terms of the roads, the infrastructure, the council, the support, the benefits, the rent support, the social housing. Everything is a fucking farcity. It's a joke. So it's no surprise that North voted Leave and South voted Remain. And it's like with Scotland, they're still in the tailwind of the whole independence thing, right? They're already on the track of fear and fucking, you know, mainstream media bullshit with the whole Scottish referendum in terms of independence. And you got Northern Ireland, they're at the very centre of the fear mongering, right? You know, with the backstop dilemma. So that's why they voted Remain. Because if you don't, you're an idiot, right? And when you live at the centre of that massive media storm, you know, it doesn't take 100% influence to tip a glass on its side to one direction. You only need more than 25%, right? And that glass tips. Think about that, right? And that kind of shit spreads like wildfire through places like Scotland, where, they've just had the Scottish referendum and things like that for independence, Oh, now you're going to take our EU away? Oh, shit. We've had the fucking, what is it? The fucking Good Friday Agreement in Ireland, and then they fucking hold that over their heads in terms of the EU. How's it going, Sue? It's really weird mind games that they seem to be playing. And we're in a position where if we don't separate ourselves from the herd of sheep, if we don't separate ourselves from mainstream media and what's going on, then we're going to have serious issues. We're going to have serious issues. And I can only hope that people, when they are, given the chance to vote at the polling booth, and it gets to the point where it's UKIP or Brexit Party or whatever party you're going to vote for, that you don't be divisive, don't attack Nigel, and that's it. The more peaceful you are, the worse party will rise to the top in terms of pointing itself out and sticking out like a sore thumb. Don't throw stones in a glass house. That's a good saying. Don't throw stones in a glass house. And at the moment, guys, it's a glass house. There's a lot of people that want Brexit, and there's no point saying fuck Nigel Farage, and there's no point saying fuck UKIP. There's no point saying fuck Tommy Robinson, any of it, because that is just gonna it's gonna cause civil war, but within our movement. I'll vote UKIP, well, because it doesn't matter. It's just a way of scaremongering people. Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Hello.
I'm there, mate.
I'm trying to find now, where is the window capture for that? Properties. I'm just banging on about Brexit, mate. It's just nuts. That's a massive fucking box. There we go. Oh, right, he's gone again. It's alright though. It'll fix itself. There's a lot of fucking problems that need sorting out in this country. And the people that created them and continue to create them, they're not going to solve these problems, right? And I mean, if you think that they're going to solve these problems, then, go ahead and vote for them again. How's it going, man?
It's alright. Mate. Just stress sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's full of stress, innit?
It can be sometimes, mate, yeah.
How's it going anyway? How's it all been? All good?
Yeah, good, mate, yeah. Just going into the whole Brexit problem, the dilemma with splitting the vote.
Oh, well, yeah. You know what my views are on that? Oh, dear, my views are this. Nigel Farage is a plant. He's a Freemason. He's been put in to cause division, because under the current polling system it wouldn't work with two parties. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, there's definitely a mole somewhere in this. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Doesn't make any sense.
I do think it's Farage. You look at his background. He's a banker, right? Quite a successful banker now. He's worked in the City of London, mate. It's all there. It's all there, man. Sorry to say it, but like I said, it's all a class. Like I said before, Brexit. The whole idea of Brexit is purely to cause division. I mean, I think it's backfired on them. Okay, I think they miss. I think they didn't realise how many people actually understand what's going on. So I think they miscounted on people like us. Okay, and other people in the Remainers, not Remainers, Leavers, who are like switched on and clued up to what they're going on about. So they got that wrong. Okay, and I think Farage was put in deliberately to cause division. Okay, I think that's what he's done. Even within the EU, I think he's just a mole in the EU. He's just one of what I can't remember, they call it a quisling or something, innit? You know, when they put somebody in to infiltrate who appears to have got like something's backing or something. It's like there's a word, I can't remember the word for it, but there is a word for it. He's been put in there to do that.
But either way, let's say all the UKIP voters voted for Brexit Party, we'd still get Brexit right. I mean, it's at that pivotal moment, or there'd be a total, yeah.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't think. If UKIP, after Farage left and UKIP had dissolved, wonder how would Farage come back out then?
I don't know. Like I say, mate, I think
I don't know.
There needs to be. I think if you imagine if UKIP right comes forward and says, what we've been talking about, you know, with the whole fucking division and stuff, you know, in layman's terms for the average folk to understand in terms of publicity, right? And they say, look, we want a coalition with Brexit Party. There's no reason to say no, other than if Brexit Party turns around and says no, we don't want that, then UKIP's going to have a hell of a lot more voters, right?
Yeah, but again, you like you say, we're talking like if you look at the percentage, we still got a lot of percentage people who want to leave, okay? But it's not us in power at the moment. It's Remainers that are in power. Okay, now media, as we know, is colluded with etc, 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 etc. Now Tommy Robinson, unfortunately, regardless of how we look at him and everything like that, by the media, by everyone fucking else who's brainwashed by the media, he is portrayed as far right. There is no way, like I've said to you before, there's no way. As soon as you think of far right, the far right is a scare word. It's used by people because they instantly think of Nazis and you think of the Jewish Holocaust and everything else. Okay, it's a bad word. Far right is bad. And in political scenes, you know, to label someone far right is untouchable. Yeah, Batten's put his head on he really has put his head on the line by bringing Tommy in. You know, it could either work two ways for him. Okay, he is gambling. And at the moment, I'm sorry to say this, but I agree with everything he says about a lot of things. I agree, some I disagree. Okay, but I feel that he's being used as a kind of a political pawn. You know, if you think about it.
It goes back to what we were saying about Freemasons and there being a fight within the cabal.
Exactly, I'm telling you, there is something going on. It really is. It's the neocons versus the other lots, I'm telling you. It is the neocons. It's the neocons versus the other guys.
Yeah,
and today, to think who the other guys are, perhaps the other guys is the Catholic Church. I don't know. I just don't. I'm trying to work out who the other guys are. Are the guys, you know, there's two groups to the Freemasons. You've got the visibles and the invisibles, haven't you? The invisibles are never seen, don't know who they are, they're just there.
Yeah.
Now are the neocons actually going against those people? Are they going to start exposing those people? Is this why Trump's doing what he's doing? Is he actually exposing the invisibles but under a different, getting into something else, do you know what I'm saying?
We're getting a bit deep here for people to understand, probably. I'm on your path though. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's fucking mate. But that rabbit hole is Alice in Wonderland, mate.
Yeah, but I just question I question a lot.
You should. You should.
As some alternative to something, some reason why they're doing that. Why they're doing it? Why? You know? Because like I said, for someone to plan something for this long to occur, that's some serious planning. These people are not stupid. These people have worked out every outcome, every fucking variable. It's got something, but they fucked up. The one thing they fucked up is about us, but they didn't realise the brainwashing techniques that go on through media, through television, through everything else, hasn't hit everybody.
Yeah. Let me just get that up now. Actually, I played a video of the migrants saying, "Where's all the women and children?" earlier on. That was pretty good. But I'll get this one up.
But again, migrants. Again, if we go back to migration, you know, bless their cotton socks. You know, I'm not saying I'm going to be controversial, but fucking, they're being used as well.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
They're just as much victims as we are.
Exactly, mate.
It's just
yeah.
different. It's just
There's
different.
a lot of attention.
Their countries have been war torn by our fucking. You know what I mean? Take for example, if you're a country, you've got no fucking money, you're rich with war, and you're offered to go to a place that's got the money that fucking has paid for the war, so to get it. What would you do when you got to that country?
It's great, mate, because you're reinforcing everything I was saying earlier on about exactly that. I was speaking about exactly that with the migrants, mate. That you can't blame them. It's our government that sets them up like bowling pins, though.
I mean, it's like extremism. We've helped to create extremism. We've created extremism for our own use, okay? And it's come back to our country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not every single Muslim follows the Quran down to a T. Not every single Muslim wants to kill every single white person. No.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But the way the sort of media portray us is that's our thinking.
Yeah, I'm going to play this video really quick, and it's of the media script. I'm just going to play this really quick.
There's a lot of attention around Sinclair Broadcasting and its conservative bent. This is a company that owns stations all across the country. And last month I reported that the company was mandating its local stations to produce these media-bashing promos. There's been a lot of angst in local newsrooms about this. Now we're actually seeing the promos, so I want to show you what they look like. This is a compilation courtesy of Deadspin that's gone viral this weekend. Just a little taste of what these promos look like.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. Without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
I think you get the idea there, what's going on. All these anchors and all these markets are required to read this script. It's attacking fake news, but really what it's doing, it's kind of like the Fox Fair and Balanced slogan.
So basically that's CNN and their response to everything that was going on. And it's just bullshit. You can see there, it's totally scripted.
Yeah, but the thing is, people sit there and they watch it because they do, and they believe it.
I was making a brilliant point of human beings to my missus earlier on. I was explaining it and kind of like blowing her mind open. Obviously, I've gone easier on her with it because she's pregnant and everything. But I was explaining about that's it. I was explaining to her about women and how they sync up with their periods, right? There's certain things where human beings are connected without words, right? When we've tested and tried this, and when they broadcast this on one side of the United States and the other, and one side of Britain and the other, because they have different BBC news outlets and stuff, it's all connected. And like I was saying earlier, you don't need full force to tip a glass over. You only need like 25% of that centripetal force, and that glass tips clean over. So you don't need full control over the narrative. You only need a slight bit to completely skew what's really going on. And you don't need to even tell complete 100% lies. You only need, a tiny bit of the story to be skewed.
It'd be interesting to know, sort of like, what your coverage. You have your independent news channels, don't you, that come on before the main sort of like, you have your BBC in your area.
You have Look North and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like Look North. I mean, I wonder how they cover the news. Is their news is it different? So they do a sort of like population scan of your area and see what the ethnic minorities are and stuff like that. Do you think they twist the news around to individual regions?
100%.
Your news from what we get here.
Yeah.
So, for example, we've got today sort of like a bloke's going around London at the moment with a knife and he's stabbing 4 or 5 people and they reckon it's all linked and stuff like that. You've got that same thing, haven't you?
Yeah, well, it's like they play a different narrative. I mean, I
probably
like well, here's the thing. I'm up north, right, and I'll go around town drinking or whatever. I went to London drinking. I've never felt so fucking safe on a night out in my life. It's so much more dangerous up north, right? It's so much more dangerous. The crime is so much more dangerous, so much more ruthless. But I think, and I saw it because I was on the ground zero, 29th in London, going out, being pissed. I went to gay bars, I lived the whole fucking thing. Went to the retail districts and everything. And apparently there's just as many undercovers as there is uniformed police officers. And let me tell you, there's fucking shitloads of uniformed police officers in the tourist district. I have never felt so safe in central London in my entire life. And I was rest assured by other people living in central London that worked there. And I stayed in Chelsea in a friend's flat. And it was a super posh area or whatever. But there's no doubt there's places in London that it wouldn't be very safe for a white man to walk. But honestly, we're being sold a fake narrative. The crime epidemic is not fucking London. I'll say that right now because I went down there and I've spoke to people in London. We're definitely told that it's really bad in terms of statistics and things. But I'm telling you, you walk down Balby, search this on Google Maps, Doncaster, Balby, right, and look at the crime. We have shootings here. We have everything, and it's far worse.
The thing is, I have disagreed. I'm not from London. I moved up in 1988 because of the rave scene. I was a raver, okay? I was popping pills and taking acid and everything. But I met a woman who became my wife, and she lived in Hackney, okay? And that was a different story, mate. Totally different story. I mean, Christ, I'm not going to go into detail, but that was an eye-opener. And now I've moved out to Essex. It's kind of quiet and down out here. But now my nephew, he's in the gang. He's on gang videos. He's there with his mask on and drinking champagne at 17. You know what I mean? Different lifestyle, which I'm trying to get him out of, which is damn hard. But what they've done at the moment is to clean up London. They're moving everyone that's bad out, and they put them on round by where I am and on the outskirts.
Yeah, on the out. Yeah. I've seen it.
And now where I am, it's getting quite dangerous. I fear for my kids. You know what I mean? I really do fear for teenage boys.
Yeah.
They've already had.
But here's a point, Chris. Right, getting into London, right? You have to be introduced to it in a way with a job or whatever. It's very hard to get into London, and it's been like that for a long time in terms of central London. But there has been a lot of social housing and kind of a populace that was already there. And I agree with you. They are trying to flush that out and make that bubble a lot more independent of the rest of the country's crime issue and the problems that we have.
You see, what happens is, you know, they make money through crime. At the end of the day, they do. Okay, they make money. Somebody makes money through crime. It's the criminals themselves, but eventually their money gets taken off them through the Criminal Figure Act. So where's that money goes back into the government? Where they do their prison time, they serve it in a private prison. They get who pays for the private prison people make money. So crime in a way is money. So what they do is this: they've caused all this stuff in London, right? House prices go down. Okay, people buy the houses because they're cheaper. They then make these houses they move everybody out to the suburbs, right? Which are now lovely places. Right, crime rates increase out there, and then eventually the crime gets. They make more money. This is what their plan is. This is what they are doing. Okay, because they make money from crime. It's pure and simple. You've got gated community where the rich live. They've got security guards there. They're safe as houses. They don't give a fuck. They don't.
Yeah,
care.
places like Homestead.
But the crime rate is, you know, what they're so clever. See, in London, this is exactly what they did. The crime went up in certain areas. Right, house prices fell. People had to move. Rich people bought the houses, increased them, turned a £250,000, £300,000 house into £1.5 million. Okay? Quitting. Do you know what I mean? Then all the talk, they put the police there, so now they can afford the police force to be there. So you've got a nice police force there protecting all the rich areas, gated off, security.
Yeah, Sue's got a good point there. Sue says not forgetting control of us. Yeah, it's all fucking linked into one.
Exactly, but I'm telling you, you look at G4, innit? G4's fucking Teresa's mate. Teresa's mate husband, mate. That bloke, seriously, he owns the biggest cannabis fucking farm in fucking England. He's fucking linked with G4. He's got his and she, no wonder she doesn't want to leave the EU. She's got way too much to lose for using the EU. That woman. She's got her whole livelihood, man. Say no more.
It's food for thought. I'm probably going to end the stream now anyway because I've got to go make food. It's 9:10. Definitely, I could do nothing more but let Chris take the floor there and do some speaking. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's good. That's what I wanted. I'd finished up my point, mate. I had nothing more to say on that. I'm just fucking. It's just things bouncing around in my head. You need someone to bounce off with these streams, otherwise that's exactly what I do. I just go too far down the rabbit hole. So it's
just let me know when you're on. I'm quite happy to come on and have some chats, just like what we do anyway, innit?
Yeah. Hopefully I'll be on tomorrow 8 till 9 if you're free then.
Yes, I'm free. I'm free.
A Freeman.
Sorted it.
You're a Freeman. You're a free man.
That's it.
That's it.
Trying to be.
Yeah, Freeman,
bloody hard,
Freeman on the land. Anyway, thanks for everybody tuning in. This has been an experimental thing, a podcast. I'll try and work on this layout. I just slapped this together. I worked some time on the intro and things like that. I'm talking about this intro here. Boom. Yeah, that one there. Took a bit of fucking time and effort putting that together, but it was worth it. I will try and make it look more professional and get the overlay and everything sorted out for when people jump in and out. I've been down here with the Freeman movement, and this has been Chris there. Sorry, I'm pointing the wrong direction. That's Chris right there. But yeah, everyone commenting in the chat, everyone commenting on the chat on the right hand side there as well. That's linked, as you can see. We've got a YouTube comment there, and we've got all this Facebook comments, so you can view this on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. It goes through to both. So we're streaming on YouTube and Facebook right now. Like I said, I didn't expect many viewers, and we haven't really got any, but we will do this. Well, I will do it religiously every day. You know, when I get a chance and go over some other things. What I need to do, right? Because Chris said this before we went live, and I don't mind staying on longer and just going with the wind blows. This is it. We're not stuck to any time, Chris. So I'm not like in a rush to get off.
Oh, okay.
What?
Just have a bit longer. Just need a cup of tea. Let me go make a cup of tea, fella. I don't have a little quick cup of tea, a bit of Yorkshire tea. Carry on, mate. Sorry.
All right. Well, what I was going to say is you said to me before I got on, you know, have we got any notes? What are we going to talk about and things like that? And we definitely need to do that. I think that's a good idea. I used to do that on my news segment. I used to do a 1 hour news segment. I had a few of them up, and they was great. I enjoyed doing them. I'll probably carry on with them again. I had them all on the Freeman page. It got fucking took down. It got took down. Facebook took it down. Didn't even tell us why they took it down. But yeah, we'll get notes together. We'll fucking figure out what we're going to talk about. Get some articles up.
We could do like, you remember the two Ronnies did Here Is the News?
Yeah.
Right, and we do just like a piss take out of the news, just the funniest news things that come up about something. I don't know, it'd be quite funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, all ideas, all ideas.
Yeah, ideas. Anyway, yeah. Cup of tea.
But yeah, what I'll say is I'm streaming here on my actual profile, on my profile page right now on Facebook, but it's shared out to Jamie Freeman, which is a Jamie Freeman page, which is a Freeman movement page. I'll have a cuppa as well, Chris. Make mine strong, lol, says Tracy.
Sweet. Teabagging or out?
A bit of both, mate.
There's nothing like a good teabagging, I tell you.
Oh, okay then. All right. We'll get more into the flow on another podcast. It's been a bit more, you know, pop-up shop with this one, but we'll definitely plan it a lot better. Maybe even go on for longer in the future. I've got to have some food and cook my missus some food as well. She's hungry. We've got 2 pizzas that need cooking and some wedgies and some extra cheese on top. Sounds good to me. But thank you to everyone for tuning in. You can probably get a gist from this stream. It wasn't planned. It's just talking about anything. We'll probably talk about something else in the future. The truth is out there, guys. Stay safe. Do you want to say anything else, Chris?
No, just exactly what Dan said. The truth is out there. Just got to look for it, man.
Yeah, that's it.
There in front of your eyes.
Look for the truth. That's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Freeman Movement. Catch you later.